Okay, now we're official, everybody. Good morning, everyone. We still have folks coming in, but we want to get started. We're so excited about today's webinar with Ebony Wellborn and Savannah Smith, the founders of Sea Potential. Kim is going to drop the link to the Sea Potential site in chat. We don't want to spend a lot of time talking about Sea Potential because we want you to go to the site and learn about it. And you're going to learn a little bit more about it today with Savannah and Ebony. And they're going to be sharing information with us today about youth engagement in maritime. We are recording the video, so it is going to be posted on the site, WashingtonMaritimeCareers.org. We're going to ask you to do a couple of things. If you could please make sure that you're muted. And if you could put your questions in chat. At the end, we should have a few minutes for questions and answers, and we'll save those for the end of the presentation. Ebony and Savannah are going to be sharing a lot of information with you all today with several links. When we post the video, we'll make sure that we put those links and perhaps some other resources with that. So we'll notify everybody once the video and the links are posted. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our wonderful guests, two young women we are so excited to get to know and work with, Savannah and Ebony.
Yay. Thanks. Hello, everyone. We'll just pull up our presentation very quick and we'll get started. Oh, sorry. Okay. So we'll get started today. Want to start in with a check-in question that will also in the chat. No need to come off mute and share about your response, but something to reflect on according to your mood today. What body or form of water describes you? So you can sit on that a little bit, share it in the chat. We'd love to know how you're feeling and hope that by the end of the presentation, you feel a little bit better after spending some time with us. But before we get into it, we want to start by having a land acknowledgement. So me and Savannah, particularly today, are sitting on the Duwamish and Coast Salish people's ancestral lands. So we want to honor them and give thanks for the stewardship that they embody every day of their existence, and for the leadership that they provide in restoring and helping support the land, the water, and the people of this land, and simply also acknowledge land and water as themselves for being a sentient being, and the fact that we get to be in reciprocal relationship with all of them. And so if you aren't familiar with the territories or ancestral lands that you reside on, wherever you might be, there's a link to a website that will be great to kind of help information, and also where you can learn more about the indigenous people in the spaces that you are occupying. And we also want to give a land and labor acknowledgement. We like to acknowledge and honor contributions of present day society as well as past society that has been developed and maintained by enslaved people, immigrants, and marginalized communities. We have a history of exploitation within our workforce that has caused a lot of harm. And so we're gonna bring that back into our present day and acknowledge that to try to make shifts that are inclusive and equitable in our workforce today. So as we talk about workforce, keep this in mind. So a little bit about our agenda. We'll be talking a little bit about us, again, who we even are, what is Sea Potential, more about the maritime industry and why we find it to be such an awesome career path to endeavor in, as well as some of the areas that you can find within work in maritime, youth opportunities, a message for the youth and others who want to support them in their journey. And then we'll have some time for questions. So again, who are we? Well, my name is Ebony, she her pronouns, a co-founder of Sea Potential. Savannah as well, a co-founder of Sea Potential. I personally am from the South, and so that's where I was born and raised. I went to college, but have been kind of hopping around the country for the last 4 years, for a couple of years and then found myself in Seattle, which I really loved and have been for the last 4 years.
And for me, I grew up in the Renton Skyway area of Washington, always around animals and my family and in nature, but it wasn't really a topic of conversation between me and my community members or peers.
And so kind of with our own experiences going throughout, particularly the marine science industry and realizing the similarities, we wanted to create Sea Potential to kind of navigate some of those situations that we ended up encountering on our own journeys. So Sea Potential creates a full cycle of BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color representation in maritime. And we have 2 different tracks in which we do that. One being youth engagement, where we're dealing with some of the individual and generational trauma related to aquatic spaces for individuals, providing opportunities to have positive experiences and build heart-based connections to water and the environment, as well as providing career exposure opportunities. And our second track is more so working with maritime organizations and businesses to promote representation over assimilation within maritime. And so these are some of the ways that it shows up through our curriculum design, working and consulting to strengthen workplace relationships, as well as helping maritime organizations build relationship with the community. And so what is maritime? Overall, maritime is connected with the sea and is usually referred to when you're talking about seafaring, commercial and or military activity. But here at Sea Potential, we define maritime as any career connected to water. So really encompassing that marine science aspect and that traditional maritime activity. So today, though, we are going to focus more traditionally on the traditional maritime industry, and wanted to share just how impactful this industry is within Washington as a whole. As you can see, that maritime in Washington state particularly brings in $21.4 billion per year. So I think it really shows that there's opportunity within the industry, and as we are all connected to water and get a lot of our resources and goods from international affairs, that it will not go anywhere anytime soon, but encouraging that more people bring themselves into the industry and realizing the innovation that could come from that new addition. So really big opportunities here, and you could be a part of it.
And so why now? Some of you, a lot of you are probably already familiar with maritime who are here today, and you may have heard the term silver tsunami already. If you haven't, this refers to the fact that there is an aging workforce in maritime. The average worker is a 55-year-old white male. So with the aging, that's kind of where the silver comes in. And the tsunami represents the workers phasing out, but not being replaced at a rate fast enough to sustain the industry, essentially. There is a projected shortage of 150,000 mariners by 2025, actually. So there will be many, many jobs and opportunities opening up for youth and those looking for stable, high-paying career paths with good benefits. There's also a push for diversity and equity at this time, as the maritime industry has been traditionally gatekept from BIPOC communities in Washington. There is more opportunity now to fill these spaces and bring in more culturally responsive practices into the workplace. And it's also found that millennials and Gen Z folks are more inclined to apply for jobs and stay at jobs that are diverse. So there's a lot of opportunity here at this time for that.
And also in addition, that green opportunities are really popping in maritime right now. As you might know, that maritime is a little bit lacking in innovation when it comes to green technology and in ways of operating that is reciprocal to relationship or reciprocal to the land and water when it comes to caring about the pollutions and things that may be putting into it. So there's a really great opportunity for those who care about green jobs and kind of starting an industry that might be a little bit behind to come in and have like this really cool innovation in the space.
So the maritime industry is really huge overall. There's tons and tons of jobs, which is great because there's kind of something for everyone in maritime if you think about it. But these are the general categories that often get described to break up the different types of jobs in maritime. So you see the list on the left-hand side there for the overarching categories. And then this image on the right is a career map that shows for some of those subsections kind of where you can start and how you can progress or advance in those specific sectors or sections over time. And you can see some price ranges for wages there too. We encourage you to check out that site when we send the link so that you could really look at all the other information that site has to offer. It's very informative.
And one of the cool things about Maritime particularly is that you don't have to have like a college degree to go within the field. You can do training opportunities and internship experiences that can get you into the field just as simply as with a good degree, which will get you a little farther in the beginning. But either way, you can still come in making really good money, which is really exciting opportunity, especially today.
And that's what this map kind of shows that here as well. At the very bottom with those yellow squares, you can kind of see it will show the education level required. So you can see you could start with no certification or education required and work your way all the way up just through experience. So there's a variety of internships and training programs that we wanted to briefly touch on today. A lot of them are focused in Seattle, but the first two are more all across the country, and anybody can kind of look into these opportunities. The first one, Harbor Freight Fellows Initiative, is a program that supports middle schoolers and high schoolers in being matched with mentors in an industry, Maritime being one of them. And they find mentors local to that youth and provide paid opportunities for the youth to participate. And this is a great way for teachers to support youth, as there's often like an advisor that is required to kind of touch base with the youth, and they also get a stipend. Sea Scouts is an amazing opportunity for youth to learn about seamanship and leadership and just how to operate boats in general. There's a picture on the side of the Sea Scouts based in Tacoma on the Charles N. Curtis right there. And Sea Scouts is a program that is nationwide as well, so not just specific to Washington. These other ones here are a variety of youth serving organizations that we actually know and work with ourselves, but they offer a variety of career exposure to youth in many different maritime type careers and help prepare them to enter the industry. And some of them provide youth with mentors as well. And last one being Argosy Cruises. You have to be 18 and up for that, but it's a really good place to start to learn how to be a deckhand and work on a boat and get experience that helps you advance further from there. Organizations to be aware of in general are also listed here, and this is a little bit more spread out across Washington State. And some of the folks are in the room in the chat today, so you could even connect potentially while you're here. But these are organizations that we know to have community events and family opportunities that really get everyone engaged together. We believe having opportunities for families to experience what youth may be pursuing as a career path is really important, because families have a big influence on encouraging youth or discouraging youth from pursuing a career. So these are organizations that have community and family opportunities, as well as just general programs for youth to connect with water and connect with maritime in general, but may not be always super career focused. And here are some schools also in Washington, Seattle area. Maritime High School being one of the biggest and exciting ones for youth. It's a brand new project-based learning school. So youth are learning all about maritime and everything they do, and they get to get out in the field and meet employers and work with maritime professionals as mentors and get really unique experiences. So this is a place for employers and maritime professionals to tap in as well and reach out to the school and see how you can engage with the youth. And some of the others are more technical learning skills like underwater welding, or the Maritime Institute of Technology and Graduate Studies, MITAGS, is a vocational institute that offers a variety of trainings for those looking to enter maritime or advance in their maritime positions. And all of these links, yeah, we'll share the links at the end of the presentation. So I know we're kind of throwing a lot of things at you, but you'll have access to it. Yeah, the presentation recording will be posted and links will be shared. So a message we have to the youth or anyone interested in potentially looking into maritime or finding a career in maritime is, one, don't be afraid to reach out, whether that is emails, calls, or dropping into these different organizations. As we mentioned, the industry is facing this big shift, and they're really looking for the next generation of talent. And so in our experience networking with people, we found that people are really eager to engage with youth and support them in any way they can. So if you're interested in a certain job or organization, reach out to them and just inquire about internships or volunteer opportunities. Even if they don't have them posted on their website, sometimes they're willing to create an opportunity for a youth that was bold enough to reach out and express interest. You could ask for tours for you, your class, for your family, and just see what they're willing to offer, and requesting informational interviews to learn about that career path and what you have to do to enter it goes a long way as well. Also on that front, if you're nervous to reach out individually, reach out to us at Sea Potential. Hopefully we're appearing friendly enough for you to feel comfortable to reach out to us. But we really see ourselves as community connectors, and we are here networking, finding a lot of different resources, and we want to support and give that back to community. So reach out to us and we'll try to help you in any way that we can as well. Another thing that we want to leave the youth with is to try a variety of different things. I know something that I faced as a youth is sometimes I was too afraid to enter an opportunity or an internship because I felt like I wasn't qualified enough to begin with, or had imposter syndrome that I wouldn't be good enough to participate. But the point of internships in the first place is for you to really learn what you like and what you don't like. We kind of have this picture of water glasses on the side because you can play with water glasses in different levels and make observations about how the sound changes when you have different levels of water. And kind of on the same front of internships, you get to dip your toes in different opportunities and kind of see what really resonates with you most as an individual, what fills up your cup most. Also, many career professionals that we meet and network with they started in completely different fields. So you don't have to be afraid that you need to find the perfect career for you right now or right out of high school. There's opportunity to explore and to change. And we also have some tips for those looking to provide youth opportunities, whether that's internships or field trip experiences, but maybe mostly from the lens of internship opportunities. One of the biggest ones is to provide paid opportunities. I feel like this is expressed a lot, but we just really want to reiterate this point. We feel it's very important to encourage youth to pursue their passions and interests over responsibility. And a lot of youth aren't able to do that always because they have to work or support their family and find ways to make money. So providing paid opportunities is a great way to show them the stability and the opportunity that actually will be available in maritime upfront. And you often find that the youth most eager to be working and enter the workforce quickly are the ones looking for paid opportunities as well. So it could lead to a direct funnel to them applying for jobs at your organization afterwards. We also believe this is very important to provide training for everyone working with youth, especially for those looking to draw in diverse candidates and BIPOC youth, because you want to make sure that you're being culturally relevant and responsive, and so that it's a safe and positive experience for the youth. Drawing in youth to opportunities that aren't set up for them to thrive in can actually be more harmful than providing no opportunities at all, because then you have a negative experience associated with that career or with that industry that then gets shared with community and continues to discourage people to stay away from that. It also is important for the mentors to kind of take on that perspective of what kind of relationship building skills are important for them to create long-term connections or mentorship connections for youth. oftentimes internships are just kind of seasonal opportunities, and it's not always the end goal or end position for the youth. So it's nice if those working with youth have that kind of mindset of how can I support this youth long-term and build relationship with them that supports them outside of this internship. And some additional tips are offering transportation support to those who need it. We find with doing our programs that sometimes maritime jobs and location sites are hard to reach by bus route or just in general. And so it's nice to offer some kind of support to youth to help them get there, especially if they don't have family that could help drive them or take them or have access to funds that support them for ride services. So yeah, that's something we highly recommend. And it's our biggest budget line as an organization is providing transportation support to our youth to get them involved. We also feel it's very important to be clear about commitments, time commitments, and timelines. This is in like your flyers and applications and just throughout the program. So the youth know what they're expecting and what's expected of them. And so that they can prepare adequately for being a part of that organization or part of the program. And the last one is to stick to sharing the required skills when you broadcast your opportunities to youth. Sometimes folks like to list things that would be nice or desired skills or preferred skills. And we found that sometimes this can be discouraging to youth or impose that imposter syndrome onto them of making them feel like, oh, well, I don't have all those things that were listed. I may not be good enough. I shouldn't reply or apply. So if you list just what is simply bare minimum required, you'll probably get a lot more traction and interest. And so the presentation, we kind of went quickly and shared a lot of information, but really we view question and answer portions as an opportunity for us to really like co-create and really get to the meat of what folks in the room really want to know about or hear about. So hopefully you've been dropping questions in the chat up until now. If not, feel free to start dropping questions in the chat. And I think Anne will help us facilitate sharing those questions, and Ebony and I will answer.
Okay. Awesome presentation, Savannah and Ebony. So much great information. And before we get to questions, I just want to remind everybody that the webinar is being recorded. And we are going to post that to WashingtonMaritimeCareers.org, along with the list of the fantastic resources and links that Ebony and Savannah shared with us today. So please put your questions in chat or raise your hand and I'll try to spot you. But I'm going to kick it off. And one of the things that really resonated with me in your information was the need, the need for industry for a workforce, not just now, but well into the future. I think, Savannah, I think you used the 150,000, for the workforce, which is a very impressive number. It's a big number. Can you talk a little bit about, how industry can effectively and positively engage with youth from a broad spectrum of communities? I think sometimes our industry partners are a little bit nervous and they don't want to make a misstep, but they really want to engage with a broad swath of communities because that is where the workforce is. Can you talk a little bit about how the work you're doing in that area and what you might recommend for employers?
Yeah, that's a good question, and one that we get very often. And we really embody that heart-based connection piece, like whether it be with land, water, or people. That's where we feel the source of openness comes from, when you're able to connect and build relationship with the person first.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, it's like simple but complex at the same time, which is getting out into community, attending events that are being hosted by different communities that you want to start engaging, understanding the history of maritime, depending on the audience that you're trying to tap into, is really important too, again, to kind of understand the perspective and thoughts that need to be addressed before even getting to the work piece, right? And so I know, especially with youth, I know it can be timid talking to them, but they're really chill most of the time. And we encourage people to to find the connection. So whether it be starting with a general question that taps into their emotional state at the moment, or asking questions to get at the heart of what their interests are and how you can connect that to your personal career path, or not even your career path, but also something within you that you resonate with, will give you kind of that good foundation to build from, and then get to the workforce piece.
Mhm. Yeah, and I would add that when having those conversations with youth and community members, it's important to share the obstacles and challenges that you've overcome when getting to where you are as well, instead of just sharing the highlights or the good things about the career. I think it makes it more real and relatable when people know what you overcame to get there, so then they know that they could also overcome things and get to that same position. And as I was saying earlier too, creating opportunities where families can be involved as well. So it's not just the youth, but the parents can kind of experience what the career may be like and encourage their youth to continue pursuing that career as well.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. It's great insight. We do have a question in chat, and again, I'm monitoring chat, and if you can raise your hand if you have a question, we'll look for that as well. This question is, where can families and teachers go to learn more about maritime career pathways in our region? I know that there are multiple resources for that, but can you share some of the resources that you've been working with?
Yeah, I mean, the Center of Excellence, which is where Ken and Anna are a great resource. They are developing and have already kind of that map that we show with career options, but there's similar resources about that as far as K through 12 support, college support, technical training, certification programs as well, that can be found on their website, and it's continuing to be developed as we kind of understand the landscape within maritime and what is to be offered. Then I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Oops, did you do that? Okay. Yeah, I think when we share these lists of resources, checking out those different websites will be helpful, because a lot of them are also sharing about things that they know on their sites. So it kind of has been a lot of like nitpicking from different sites, but that's why the Center of Excellence, what they're creating, is so wonderful, because there's going to be a large like database where everything is kind of there all together. But yeah, check out the links that we share. Maritime High School website is also pretty informative for those looking on why maritime is important or how to engage youth. They have some good information on their facts page.
Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of regionality to it too, that if you're looking for more specific, like touch points of where maritime is larger, or the capacity for job and opportunities are larger, like Seattle, there's a lot in Tacoma, Port Townsend. You can check the coastal regions, like you can kind of search more specifically so that you don't get this broad source, because maritime is really big in Washington State as a whole.
That's wonderful. I want to follow up on something you mentioned a few moments ago, Savannah. And I had a conversation with a colleague of mine in the construction industry about this. You talked about being authentic about what the career paths really look like. So when you're talking with somebody, just don't make it a sell about this is the best thing since sliced bread. Being very open and honest about what the jobs are and what the career looks like. Can you talk a little bit more about the importance of being very transparent about that information?
Yeah, I think it partially just mentally prepares folks for what to expect, so that there's expectations that aren't too high, but that are reasonable, and they can know that there's opportunities for growth and see examples of how somebody has grown and overcame. So when they go through a hard moment themselves, they can be reminded of those and know that they could get through it as well.
Yeah, and kind of want to piggyback and say, especially youth today, and I think younger folks in general today, we want to know what's up. And if we don't know what's up, we're going to find out what's up. So it's better to go ahead and be honest off gate about, what is happening within your industry or your career path, just because that's also building relationship, right? Like your vulnerability and your honesty is going to resonate with them, and know that at least if not going into career path, they know there's someone that they can trust within the field to have these vulnerable conversations with. So it's better to just go ahead and do it up front than anything, particularly in me and Savannah's programs. No matter what program we do, we always highlight the negatives and the positives of the industry, you know, calling in some of that, the sexism that exists, the racism that could exist within the space, some of the hard work. I mean, hard work is good, but you know, it could be a little harder depending on which career path you choose to go into maritime. So just saying that up front and then introducing them to the opportunity, already knowing that will make it better known to the youth themselves that this is what they want to do, because they already have that information in their minds.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you. I'm looking at chat and I see that Tasha, if I pronounced your name correctly, called out the Governor's Industrial Safety and Health Advisory Board, the Maritime Safety Day event this October. So please make sure you check into that. And I don't see raised hands, so I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to walk a tightrope. Does anybody want to go off mute and go live and ask a question, provide a question for Ebony and Savannah?
Yeah, don't be shy. We'll answer as much as we can.
I think everybody is a little shy today.
That's fair. We were nervous when we came on today too, so.
You were fantastic. I'm not seeing any other questions, but here's what we'll do. If you think of questions, thank you, Deb, sharing some information for Maritime Trade Day. If you think of questions, please go to the See Potential website and interact directly with Ebony and Savannah. They are just fantastic and really wonderful emerging young leaders in this space. So that's one of the reasons we're so excited and pleased to work with them. And also reach out to us at the Center of Excellence. You've got Kim Davis's email. We'll be happy to send those questions directly to Ebony and Savannah. And I'm just checking chat one more time. And it looks like, and we'll share some of the opportunities in chat that folks are sharing. So I appreciate that. And as a reminder, Kim just dropped this in chat. We've got a survey, so we want to hear from you. We want to know what you thought about the webinar, what other topics you might like to learn about. And Savannah and Ebony, I'm going to turn it back to you. Are there any closing thoughts that you want to share, or any other information you'd like to share with everybody today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we'll share this is our contact information. It has our email address, our website, and our Instagram. Definitely encourage you to check out our Instagram to kind of see more about the work we do and how we're trying to merge maritime and create this very culturally responsive curriculum and activities for our youth to engage with. But truly, I think we just want to say, yeah, we're a resource to you, and we're here. Basically, this is to let you know that we exist and have a brief introduction into maritime too, but give resources to those who want them, to have questions, to talk about some of those deeper things that might not be, you know, what you want to put up front for others to engage with, and for youth to have a source of contact that looks like them in the industry and that can bridge that gap. So thank you for joining us today.
And actually, we have 2 more comments. So yeah, don't go away yet. I think I think Niam, I believe I might be pronouncing your name correctly. I hope I am. Wants to know what months, I guess the calendar months that you offer internships. Am I getting that question correctly? And please don't hesitate to go off mute if I'm getting that wrong.
Right. Yeah, we can answer generally unless they chime in with more specific for that. But yeah, the internships we shared on the list are from a variety of different organizations, so offered a variety of different times. A lot of them are summer internships. There's some that are spring or throughout the school year, like after school for youth. Our programs at See Potential happen pretty much in every season. Our Maritime Career Exposure Program is something we do in the fall with BIPOC age or BIPOC youth who are middle school age. from October through December. So yeah, we try to keep opportunities available year round and keep youth engaged.
Is that information located on your website, Savannah?
Our website does not host or show what programs we have done. Our Instagram is better at showing that, but we are working
Okay.
on updating our website, and that is an annual program that we will be doing.
Okay, and then Instagram, I think I'm looking right at it. It's at c.potential. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so encourage everybody to go to the Instagram site and check that out. And then I've got, somebody wants to make a comment, but I've got one more question for you. Now they're rolling in. If
Mhm.
someone who is not in school, but is 18 years old, and they just want to start earning money in the industry with no experience, do you have any thoughts about where they could go for that? Again, somebody who's 18, they're not in school, they want to get in the industry, but they really don't have experience at this point in time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sorry.
Go ahead.
There's so many opportunities, and again, that's why I really enjoy Maritime, because you could literally just hop in there and be on your way. But there's some resources that we provided that are in the PowerPoint and will be shared, that have those internship opportunities for 18 plus. But the Harbor, what is it, Harbor School?
Harbor
It's
Freight
really-
Initiative.
Oh yes, sorry. The Harbor Initiative is really great for opportunities that are paid to also get into the industry and start learning. There also is, wow, I'm blanking.
Yeah, and internships we shared with the links for Seattle Goodwill and like YMC. A lot of their
Mhm.
programs cater to 16 to 24 and offer paid stipends. So it's a way to get that introductory experience and get paid while doing it. Argosy Cruises, as we mentioned, you can get experience being a deckhand through them at 18 with no experience. Some of those institutes we share, like the Divers Institute, I'm forgetting the full name right now, but you'll get the link later. They offer financial scholarships even for to participate in the program and become a diver. So that is a way to pursue education without having to front all the money. And MyTags West is also a great vocational institute for folks to just start entering the industry from. They might
Mhm.
provide financial support as well, but I'm not 100% sure.
And it's important to ask, like, if there is an organization or a business that's in Maritime that you see, it could be nice to just reach out and again ask them, because even if they don't have something already, they could create something if they know that you have an interest. So that's a really good thing to mention. And depending on, your status as a U.S. citizen or not a U.S. citizen, that seems to come up sometimes. It's better to go to community organizations or some of those boat schools and things of that nature to kind of get some access before going straight into businesses or colleges.
That's awesome. And then Deb, I'm going to get to you in just 1 second, but we've got another question. And the question is, do most maritime programs require a high school diploma or GED to participate? And I can help you out with this one if you need help.
Yeah, help would be nice, but I don't think so. It depends on what program you go to. Like for us, you can be in high school, and a lot of programs have that middle school to high school range. Or if you're not in school, like we do programming, so no matter if we go by age. And so if you aren't in school, there's a place to go for that. But I'll let Ann answer the rest.
No, I was just going to say, it really depends on the program. Some
Mhm.
programs, particularly shoreside programs that are training for shoreside technicians, don't require a high school diploma or GED. You can go directly into the program. But it's a great question, because if you have a student in your life or you yourself are looking at it, please make sure you understand what the prerequisites for that program are, because they will tend to vary. And it's always good to investigate that.
And I'll just add one more thing that reminded me of. Some internship opportunities aren't able to pay undocumented students to participate. So they become like volunteer opportunities. But Duwamish River Community Coalition and Duwamish Valley Youth Corps could be a good organization to look into if you're undocumented, because they tend to work with undocumented communities and provide or find resources to pay and compensate folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great information. And I know Deb had a comment that she wanted to make. So Deb, thank you for being patient. And if you'll unmute yourself and make your comment.
Great, thank you. And thank you to, to all of you for sharing these fabulous opportunities and this intentional effort that we're all making together to lift our citizens and lift all boats, basically. But I really appreciate the way you start with the emotional connection. What is the emotional connection to the water? And everybody who grows up around here has that, because they remember being at the beach, or they remember putting their hands in the water and watching the phosphorescence. It starts with that joy that's in their soul, basically. And so then getting them connected is our opportunity as a state to offer this. And the question about how do you train the adults to kind of share effectively with these young people coming in, what I'm starting this apprenticeship, and I find all these subject matter experts in all these different disciplines, and they say, well, I know how to do X, but I can't teach it. And I just say, all you get to do is share what you know and love with these students that are eager and wanting to learn. And so you've got this. And I'm offering next summer a train the trainer model where they'll get more than that, just kind of little pep talk. But I think we all have the opportunity to support our young people, because this sector, I'm a senior citizen female, and I have been welcomed on commercial fishing operations. Yes, I kind of goofed the first times, but I just asked them to teach me, and they're happy to teach me. And so it's just a lot of those soft skills, as well as some dedication and determination and interest. I think we have an opportunity in the state of Washington to make this really happen. And I'm grateful to all of you for all your good work.
Thank you, Deb, for sharing your experiences in the industry and those words of encouragement for people too.
Thanks, Deb. I think we might be out of questions. I'm going to give it one more second. If anybody has a question, please put it in chat, or please raise your hand, or just go off mute, because if I might be missing somebody with the hand raised. We'll give it about another second. And as we're waiting, I just want to thank Ebony and Savannah for today. Fantastic webinar, wonderful information. I'm so excited about the energy and commitment and leadership you're bringing to the industry. It's just wonderful to be able to work with you. And again, we're recording the webinar. We're going to post it to the website. But in the meantime, please go visit their website, letseepotential.com, or go to Instagram at @see.potential and follow Ebony and Savannah and all the wonderful work they're doing. And then finally, Kim just posted this again. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. Please take a moment to fill out the survey. I promise you it's super quick, but we use the survey information that we get from all of you to inform us about what other topics we want to bring. And then, of course, we'll share the feedback with Ebony and Savannah as well. But we really do appreciate you taking just a couple of moments to fill that out. And then as another reminder, we'll have those links when we post the webinar as well. So Ebony, Savannah, I want to thank you both so much. It's fun to work with you, and I'm excited about what the future holds. And I think you're doing absolutely phenomenal work. So thank you once again, and thank you to everybody for attending today. We really appreciate that.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much. Also, we'll be having some blogs coming out too at the Center of Excellence, and our new staff will be writing one of them. So be on the lookout for those.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So again, thank you all so very, very much. We hope you have a good rest of your day. And I think it'll take a couple of days for us to get the webinar posted, but we'll have it posted just as soon as possible.